Hi everyone, I'm Zehua from University of Maryland, College Park. Here, I'm going to present our paper titled Too Many Cooks Exploring How Graphical Perception Studies Influence Visualization Recommendations in Draco. As we all know, visualization recommendation systems are proposed to reduce human effort by partially or fully automating the visualization design process. The systems take datasets as an input and then output visualizations to help users better understand the data that they are working on. There are some work like Tableau, Voyager, Foresight, etc. have contributed to this research area. The construction of these visualization recommendation algorithms rely on graphical perception works to compare the effectiveness of one visualization design versus another. For example, Voyager systems use the APT and Show Me papers as guidelines to select optimal encoding channels and mark types. However, none of the existing algorithms use more than 3 graphical perception studies as guidelines. Thus, we do not know how can complementary or contradictory graphical perception results influence visualization recommendation algorithms' behavior and output. Thus, in this work, we aim to analyze the influence of graphical perception results on changing the visualization recommendation algorithms' behaviors and outputs. To achieve that, we first present a replicable pipeline of applying a large body of graphical perception results to develop new visualization recommendation algorithms. Then we conduct an exploratory study to investigate how results from graphical perception can change the corresponding downstream algorithms. Specifically, we showcase how our methods can identify gaps in existing graphical perception literature informing recommendation algorithms, identifying papers with different visualization preference, and quantifying each graphical perception paper's influence on visualization recommendations. We first would like to discuss our pipeline for applying graphical perception results in developing visualization recommendation algorithms. Zeng and Battle's previous work contribute a systematic record of how different visualization designs compare based on various tasks and metrics. To incorporate Zeng and Battle's datasets into visualization recommendation algorithms, we use one of the existing frameworks, Draco, to guide the algorithm's construction. Specifically, we write a program to automatically translate Zeng and Battle's visualization specifications into Draco's. As the example shown here, although in different formats, both visualization specifications can capture the mark type, encoding channels, scale types, and aggregations used in the visualization. We then trained Draco machine learning models with the rank visualization pairs from each graphical perception result. Draco soft constraints can automatically detect the difference between the positive and negative examples from the ranked pair, and assigned different weights to prioritize the soft constraints in the positive example and disfavor the soft constraints in the negative examples. We propose 3 research questions to guide us analyze the Draco outputs step by step. First, to identify gaps in visualization design space, we analyze which Draco soft constraints are captured by each paper. For each paper, we generate a feature vector recording whether such a soft constraint is detected in either the positive or negative example from the paper. By clustering the feature vectors, we identify different visualization space and their gaps. Second, to identify different visualization preference among papers, we train a baseline model with McKinley APT rules and +1 models with APT rules plus results from one extra paper. By comparing the weight shift between each +1 model and the baseline model, we can get the visualization preference from each paper. We cluster a paper by the weight shift vector and identify groups of paper where, within the same group, papers share similar visualization preference. For the third research question, we go one step further. We define the unique influence of a paper as the Manhattan distance between the corresponding +1 and the baseline weight vector. We analyze the reason why certain papers have significant unique influence on Draco's behavior. We also analyze whether the significant behavior influence can translate to significant output influence in the actual recommendations. As we mentioned, to answer the first research question, we cluster papers according to their coverage on visualization design space. We can see that papers are clustered roughly into 7 groups. Within each group, papers have similar visualization space coverage. For example, papers in group P1 never evaluate visualizations with summary tasks. As another example, papers in group P5 never evaluate visualizations using ordinal scales. We also cluster papers based on their weight shift vectors to see whether we can identify different visualizations preference. As a result, we are able to identify 3 major clusters spanning 20 papers. Within each cluster, papers have similar visualization preference. For example, papers in group T1 prefer not to use categorical scales, while papers in T2 actually suggest using categorical scale in visualizations. As we define the unique influence of a paper on changing the algorithm's behavior as the Manhattan distance between the +1 and the baseline weight vectors, we plot a scatter plot with the number of ranked visualization pairs associated with each paper on the x-axis and the unique influence of the paper on the y-axis. We notice that the top 2 most influential papers have provided the most number of ranked visualization pairs, suggesting that providing more visualization comparison knowledge could boost the unique influence on algorithms' behaviors. At last, we investigate whether the weight shift of soft constraints can be reflected in changing recommendation outputs. We request the baseline model to recommend visualizations for 3 datasets: movies, cars, and weather. We ask the +1 models to rank these visualizations and calculate the Spearman correlation between the baseline and the +1 rank vector to measure a paper's recommendation shift. We plot each paper's ranked in recommendation shift against its ranked in soft constraint weight shift and find a strong correlation between these 2 ranks, suggesting that large shift in Draco soft constraint weight can also translate into significant shift in downstream recommendations. In summary, to our best knowledge, we are the first one to incorporate a large amount of graphical perception studies as guidelines to inform visualization recommendation algorithms. We provide an easy understood approach to quantifying the unique influence of each graphical perception study on changing the algorithm's behaviors and outputs. We also are able to identify gaps in visualization space and identify different visualization preference among the graphical perception literature. At last, we confirm that the behavioral changes can transform to the changes in the final recommendation output. Given the time limit of the presentation, we can only cover the major contributions. If you are interested in our work, our paper and datasets are available at the links on the screen. Thank you so much.